In this lesson, we're going to be looking at graphing circles. So we're going to take circles and graph them on a Cartesian coordinate system. And so first of all, a circle is just a set of points that's an equal distance from some center point. So if I start with a point in the center and I measure out the same distance in every direction, and if I keep doing that, measuring out the same distance in every direction that I can, what happens is I start to form this circular shape, and those points start to collide until I end up with not this menu, of course, because that's not what I wanted, but I end up with this set of points that forms this curve that forms the circle, okay? So I end up with this kind of circular shape as these points start to collide and connect with one another, all right? The radius is the line that extends from the center of the circle to the circumference, or to the outside of the circle. And we're all pretty familiar with what that is. The radius, remember, is this guy right here. It's basically halfway across the circle, all right? The diameter is pretty much the same thing, except the endpoints are on the circumference. This measures the entire way across the circle. So when we look at the center, the circumference is the one that goes the whole way across, okay? And so when we look at the formula for a circle, basically we have this kind of unique equation, and it's got both x squareds and y squareds in it. And so that's how we know it's not a parabola. Both variables are being squared here. And that's what gives us this curve that goes the whole way around, so it's curving vertically and horizontally, essentially, and giving us this circular shape. And when we look at this formula, this guy right here, the h and the k, hk is the center, so if we want to make a note to that somewhere, hk is the center. And then right here, the r value, that's the radius. Okay? So when we look at something like this, and just like with our vertex form for a parabola, remember that's x minus h, so we kind of take the opposite of that. It's y minus k, so we kind of take the opposite of that. And keep in mind that the value over there is r squared, so we're going to have to work backwards to find r. For example, if I look at this one, here I've got a x squared plus y squared, and really this is the same thing as saying x minus 0 squared and y minus 0 squared. And then this guy, the 9, really, if we want to think of that in terms of radius squared, that's 3 squared, okay? And you can think of it that way if you want to identify these. Now we can see that the center, hk, is 0, 0, and the radius is 3, okay? So now when we graph this thing, we start with the center. And now the radius, we just count out 3 in every direction. And keep in mind, there's only 4 directions that make sense for us to count because I can't count diagonally. So I count this way 3, this way 3, this way 3, and this way 3. And then from here, I just draw the best circle that I can. I do my best. It's not going to be perfect, but you want to make it look like as much of a circle as possible, okay? And we can tell that I was trying to draw a circle there, and that's what's important. What I won't accept is this. Oh, yeah, here's my circle, Mr. Jansen. All right, don't be so lazy that you don't even make it look like a circle. That's a diamond. Try to make it look like a circle, and that'll be fine, just fine, okay? If I look at the next one, again, I can see h and k. If I think about this guy, if I want to know what r is, well, this is r squared, so this is like 2 squared. And really, all I'm doing to find the r value there is taking the square root of that guy, okay? So another way to think of this is if you can say, okay, r squared equals the 4, well, solve it. Take the square root of each side, and that'll become important. And we're just going to use the positive version of the 2. Really, it's plus or minus 2 because we're going 2 in the positive and negative directions, okay? But my center here for this one, the center this time is 2, negative 1, right? Because I kind of take the opposite of those guys. So 2, negative 1, 2, negative 1 is right here. The radius is 2, so I count 2 in every direction that I can. And then I just draw the best circle that I can, all right? I do my best. Try to make it, wow, that was terrible. Try to make it look like a circle. I'm rushing a little bit, so mine doesn't look great, but it's close enough. Okay, so try to make it look like a circle. Do your best. All right.